Well, now we come to a part of our program which is one that we really look forward to each year. A multidisciplinary committee of scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs from both CASIS and NASA and our user community come together, and they select some award winners from the past year that stand out in two categories. One is in the area of compelling results. Sometimes those are controversial results. Sometimes they're things that make you say, and sometimes they are clear shots out of the park of a great new discovery. Also, we like to honor innovation. And once again, that can be doing something that no one's done before, doing something no one's sure should have been done before, but suddenly realizes is a great idea, or really doing something that opens up a new business area. And so across all of that diversity, we have chosen for you some awardees to present this year for their work on the International Space Station. The first of these awards goes to the One Carbon Investigation Team for compelling results for human health in space. And the team members from this team include Sarah Zwart, Jesse Gregory, Steve Zeisel, Charles Gibson, Thomas Mader, Jason Kinchin, Per Uland, Robert Ploutz-Snyder, Martina Heer, and Scott Smith. And I want to tell you just a little bit about this work before we call them up. That is an international team, by the way, a multinational team. In this groundbreaking study, the investigator team was able to show a correlation between visual and anatomic changes in the eye that occurred in astronauts flying long-duration missions and metabolomic and genetic variables. This investigator team first identified that astronauts affected with visual changes exhibited higher concentrations of one-carbon metabolites, such as homocysteine, even before flight. This discovery led to a hypothesis that genetic variations in one-carbon metabolism enzymes could contribute to susceptibility in these ocular changes in astronauts. And such polymorphisms have been implicated in many other disease processes here on Earth in the general population, including cardiovascular disease and stroke. Statistical modeling, in the study that accumulated in their recent publication, the team investigated 5 different polymorphisms in genes that encode in the one-carbon pathway in blood samples from 49 astronauts and correlated these to the ocular changes. They found that B vitamin status was a significant predictor of many of the eye outcomes that were observed. And so based on these studies, further studies are planned that will explore the potential benefit between vitamin B supplementation on the one hand and also look at other applications of this work back here on Earth to our health. I can tell you that it's a very different way of looking at the ocular health problem than others that you've heard at this conference, perhaps thinking about it mechanistically. And I can get people to have really nice arguments right now by sometimes putting folks together to debate those, and that is a sign of true science in motion. So not only do these results have significant implications for NASA and future astronauts, but the implications for the general population could be profound. And so we're really happy representing this team to have both Dr. Sarah Zwart and Dr. Scott Smith, 2 great friends of mine here today. So please come up to the stage. The next award is in an area that we should all be very concerned about. You know, human evolution has been based in a war, and that war is the war between us and microbes. Our entire immune systems are a product of the arms race between ourselves and the bacteria that would do us harm. And the next awardee goes to Dr. Yamutsu Sakamoto for his work and compelling results in biology and biotechnology for the development of antimicrobial agents. Dr. Sakamoto is of Iwate Medical University in Japan, and what he found is that there are characteristics specific to periodontal pathogens. Those are the pathogens in the mouth and multiple drug-resistant bacteria. And some of those results are that they focused on a characteristic specific to those pathogens, which is the use of amino acids obtained by degradation of proteins and peptides as the main nutrient source instead of carbohydrates. They identified two components, DP11 and DPP7, which degrade the peptides and produce dipeptides and exist only in bacteria, no other organisms. These are key enzymes essential for the growth of these bacteria. And they determined the world's first three-dimensional structure of that DPP11 by X-ray crystallography. That meant they got the, basically the focus, the way they were able to focus in on the fine structure of that protein from 2.5 angstroms to only 1.7 angstroms and got that better structure. Based on the result of this structural analysis, it was successfully clarified how this periodontal pathogen converts the energy source. And this opens up a completely different way of looking at developing new antimicrobial agents for the war against microbes. So this is really exciting work, and I'd like to say congratulations and welcome Dr. Sakamoto-san to the stage. Congratulations. Next, we're going to move to our Innovation Awards. Our first award goes to Mr. Glenn Havens and Dr. Ernesto Rodriguez for innovation in earth science and remote sensing for the ISS RapidScat investigations. In this case, I think this is really personally a valuable award for all of us who live in hurricane-prone areas, and certainly living in Houston, I care very much about accurate hurricane prediction. Ernesto and Glenn were involved in the speedy implementation and deployment of the RapidScat Ocean Vector Wind Scatterometer instrument on ISS, which provides operational ocean vector winds to the global weather forecasting and science communities. It's the first operational science instrument on the ISS, meaning that it's not just for scientific research, but it's to provide practical daily information that's needed to protect lives and health here on Earth. It measures wind speed and direction observations over the ocean. The reason that RapidScat was launched to the ISS is because a constellation of satellites that were providing this service had major setbacks in their instruments. Both NASA's QuickScat and the Indian Space Agency's OSCAT instrument had suffered operational challenges. And that had meant that instead of getting data for predicting hurricane strengths and other global winds every day, the data was only going to be available every 2 to 3 days, and that's just not often enough to do good predictions. So the RapidScat instrument is rapid because it was developed quickly. It was launched in September 2014, and within less than 1 month of being turned on, it started providing data operationally to the weather agencies around the globe, including NOAA, EUMETSAT, ISRO, ECMWF, and Météo France. And this instrument continues to operate. It will continue to operate until October 2017. And one of the things that we're tracking is that until ISRO launches their next scatterometer, this is the primary source of data for tracking hurricanes over the Indian subcontinent, for example. So this is an incredibly important instrument. And we want to say our special thanks to JPL for their innovation in developing this gap filler instrument, and invite them to the stage. Mr. Havens and Ernesto. There are two other members of the RapidScat team. I'm glad they came to the stage that are here today, Julia Stadler and Stacy Boland. So let's clap one more time for all of them. Congratulations, everyone. Our next award goes to Dr. Tadahiro Mihara for Innovation in Earth and Space Science for the MAXI instrument. MAXI stands for the Monitor of All Sky X-ray Imager, and it is a high sensitivity X-ray that's looking at an entire view of the sky at all times for X-ray bursts. This was the first astronomical payload on the International Space Station. It regularly observes the whole sky with the orbital revolution of the ISS, and it issues an alert if it finds a sudden increase of X-ray flux, an outburst or a burst, as early as within 12 seconds of when it first sees that signal. And MAXI's results include the first detection of a fireball at ignition of a nova and discoveries of 6 new black holes. Half of the 12 black holes that have been discovered since MAXI began its operations in August 2009 were seen first by the MAXI instrument. And it's also identified 17 new X-ray sources in the universe and observed 91 gamma ray bursts in that time. Thanks to MAXI and this continual observation, there's been extraordinary collaboration between the MAXI team and the SWIFT satellite team, for example, in the United States and all around the world, in understanding and directly observing these kinds of phenomena. And MAXI has produced, across its collaboration, over 150 original published papers since 2009. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Mihara-san. I bet that is not only the first of many observations of black holes, but the first time a scientist has ever received an award to the music from The Price is Right. So that's great. Now we'd like to honor one of our young entrepreneurs. You've had some opportunities already at this conference to hear from several entrepreneurs that are not only doing research on the space station, they're raising the money, they're building the hardware, and they're helping other people do research on the space station, even though they're very early in their career. And it's a sign of both the accessibility of the platform, but also the innovation and entrepreneurship of the next generation. And I'm really excited to introduce someone to receive the next award that I've known since they were a student, and that is Twyman Clemens. Twyman Clemens is from Space Tango, Inc. It is a company that is developing and designing and building hardware and software platforms that make microgravity research easy and cost-effective. The hardware that he's developed is specifically focused on biotechnology, the ability to fly cells, molecular components, protein crystals, microbes in a rapid turnaround studies of microbiology. Tango Lab 1 is an automated lab. It allows up to 21 individual experiments to run simultaneously with internet connections to send data to the customer through a user interface called the Customer Portal. And most importantly, the original name of this was Payload Card Multilab 1, and Twyman did a lot better than whatever engineer wrote that first version, and of course Tango Lab 1 is a lot more exciting name for that. So Mr. Clemens, Twyman, please come forward. Congratulations. Our next award goes to Dr. Lenore Rasmussen for Innovation in Commercialization and Non-Government Utilization and/or Physical Sciences and Materials, also for supporting role in a drama or other television show. Anyway, development for synthetic muscle polymer is her work. Dr. Rasmussen, through this work, has really been innovative in developing a synthetic muscle polymer. This has huge potential in prosthetics and robotics industries. She's chairman of the board, founder and CTO of Ross Labs, a company dedicated to developing products that have the power to heal and save lives. In inventing synthetic muscle, she invented a flexible polymer that has the ability to expand and contract when experiencing an electrical input at low voltage. The polymer has large potential in prosthetics and robotics, as I stated, and it's been tested in a variety of extreme environments. Synthetic muscle launched to the space station on SpaceX 6 and return on SpaceX 8. Or will return on SpaceX 8. So congratulations to Dr. Lenore Rasmussen. Our final ISS Research Award goes to Dr. Joseph Ung for innovation in commercialization and non-government utilization in biology or medicine for his work in protein crystal growth development. And a bunch of you just had the opportunity to hear some of his innovative work at the plenary today. Dr. Ung is from iExpress Genes. He's a prominent crystal growth researcher and had an extremely successful flight on his first ISS experiment that flew in 2014. But now, as president of iExpress Genes, a biotechnology company based in Huntsville, Alabama, he's expanding his work, specializing in biochemistry, structural genomics, and instrumentation. He's actively involved in promoting the ISS as an ideal platform for protein crystal growth, and specifically for neutron diffraction studies, something that really opens up protein crystal growth to all of the most recent developments and techniques in the discipline. He's also highly involved in education and outreach activities and in mentoring new to space researchers. So congratulations, Dr. Joten. I have the opportunity on behalf of the AAS to present one additional award today. As you know, the AAS generally presents their awards at the Goddard Symposium on the East Coast, but one of their awardees was not able to attend and accept, but he's on the West Coast here, and so we have the opportunity to give him a public acknowledgement of this award as well. It's the 2015 Space Technology Award, and it's being awarded to Peter Theisinger at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory for leadership in advancing the United States planetary exploration capabilities, including continuously evolving spacecraft, reaching planetary bodies and roving across their surfaces, and in the process directly enhancing human knowledge of both the solar system in general and Mars in particular. In 2013, Peter was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world as a pioneer for his role in getting the Curiosity rover to Mars safely in August of 2012. And so, Peter, we're really honored to have you with us today, and congratulations on your award. let's give all of our award winners one more round of applause, and also Josh for such a great, inspiring speech. This concludes our awards ceremony. On behalf of all of us in the ISS program, all of the wonderful folks at CASES, all of the other NASA colleagues here in the room and from around the agency, and the AAS, I want to say congratulations to our award winners, and I want to thank you all for attending the ISS RDC. This conference would not be what it is without the diversity and the variety of creative people that come to think about space, think about access to space, and think about what they'll do next. We'll be concluding the plenary program in a few minutes, but before we do that, I wanted to share just a couple of thoughts on the conference as a whole. I think one major theme that we saw coming forward at this conference is that challenge between innovation, bright new ideas, and then barriers to innovation. And one of the things that I really saw across all of the sessions at this conference this year was a consistent effort to remove barriers to innovation wherever they occur, whether those are bureaucracy, whether those are lack of funding, or whether those are true technical barriers from the unknown. I see creative people working to overcome those challenges and make innovation free-flowing in the new space environment, space economy. I also saw a lot of crossover breadth in the work that's going on in space. With, as other areas of technology advance, that feedback between space and working in an extreme environment, and that feedback between the physical and biological sciences, all being sources of innovation in low Earth orbit. That feedback can also be called the dance between exploration and science. And as that dance continues, I see those who are pushing the edge of where humans can be, and those who are pushing the edge in understanding all of those new environments coming together to make great discoveries. And the other thing that I think really caught my eye at the conference this year compared to years in the past is that now I'm seeing people more and more connecting the dots between the way things are today and the low Earth orbit of the future, where there might be commercial space stations. And to me as a scientist, what I find so exciting about that is that the access to space and the ability of scientific disciplines to use that environment to make new discoveries continues to increase. The disciplines become strong because those spaces for doing research become accessible. And of course, there are scientists in this room today, especially with the number of students that are here with us, that will be doing research in low Earth orbit on platforms that haven't even been designed yet for many, many years to come. And so as we look across the rest of the conference, and of course that doesn't mean you can't go to the last set of technical sessions coming this afternoon, but as we look across the conference, the final thing that I observed this week was really the importance of partnership. Partnership among people of various nations that are captured in the essence of the ISS as an international partnership. Partnerships across different disciplines who put their discoveries together to come up with innovative synergies. And of course, partnership between the private sector and government to make research as possible to be completed in a variety of ways, to make funding go further, to make more discoveries, and to make the things that government may choose to do also lead to advances in our economy and advances in the quality of our life on Earth. So thank you all for your attendance at this conference, and we'll let Jim and Greg also make a few more comments. Thank you.
Julie, no, you stay. I'm gonna thank you first. So I'll start with Josh. You are so impressive, and it's been so wonderful that you joined us. Everybody here was inspired by your story, and you know, Mark Watney comes to mind. You know, I mean, the future astronaut corps, we're confident in what you all are going to do in the future, and I'm really proud of you. And oh, by the way, his class has 4 women and 4 men. Just wanted to point that out. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, thank you.
And going on with the thanks with NASA, you know, Rick Mastracchio joined earlier in the week, but also the entire NASA team. Starting all the way from the top, Bill Gerstenmaier was here, Kirk Shireman had to leave a little bit earlier today. The entire science team. It's such a pleasure to work with NASA. We've almost 5 years working with NASA, and we knew that the creation of a nonprofit to manage the ISS National Lab would be disruptive and a challenge. And you all are so wonderful to work with on an increasing basis. You've built a beautiful asset that we're taking advantage of. Thank you. The CASIS team, I'm so proud of you all. We're a small group, about half of the corporation is here right now. And you all, along with AAS, and I know Jim, you're going to make some more comments, and AAS is, we've been working together on this, but put together a wonderful, wonderful conference. And each one of you, I know, put in the extra hours, the midnight oil, and I'm just so happy at how this conference turned out. The keynotes, I heard paradigm shift. Personalized and digitized medicine and how that might help us get to Mars. I heard about exponential technology and how we better get on that train, because the wagon is the wagon's going this way, and then the fast train's going this way, and we got to be on the fast train or we're going to lose out. We shared in the history of the Kelly brothers, the history of a year in space and the science behind it. And so wonderful keynotes, wonderful plenary panels. Sometimes plenary panels, they go down toward the end of a conference sometimes when attendance, people go home a little early maybe. But the panels at this conference, the very last panel was amazing and inspiring. And this STEM day, Anna Sophia, we know our future is in able hands, and I would definitely bet on 100% bet on you. So a wonderful STEM day, a wonderful end of the conference. I'm inspired, and I want to thank everyone that came to this conference. We've got a wonderful asset to work with. We've got a brilliant future, and thank you so much for attending.
Well, I'll just briefly follow Greg and say from the AAS perspective, this is our 5th conference from our first start in Denver 5 years ago, and every year has gotten better and better, and we couldn't be prouder to work with CASIS and the whole team and our NASA colleagues to put this on. But as good as this year was, we're now looking ahead to next year. So as just a quick note, July 18th to 20th at the Omni Showroom on Connecticut Avenue in Washington, D.C. So please mark that on your calendar. It's right next to a metro station, and being on the East Coast offers new possibilities and new connections for everybody. And then for those who really mark your calendars ahead of time, 2018 in July at the Marriott Marquis in San Francisco. So the goal of this conference has always been to move to bring in new users and communities. Many of you have asked, the videos will be, everything was webcast for the morning sessions and luncheon sessions this year, and those will be available on the ISS conference page probably as early next week, as is true with those PowerPoint presentations that we get permission to release. Finally, this evening, we have a special event at the Reuben H. Fleet Science Center, and that's in Balboa Park, free parking, 7 o'clock. And I was just given one point of advice. It's about 15 minutes or less away. If you're taking a taxi or Uber or whatever, or driving yourself, it's the intersection or the intersection of Park Boulevard and Space Theater Way. That'll get you right by the theater. So thanks again.